Thank you for saving my peasant-ass stranger.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland is jam-packed with one-liners that you'd expect from the world of Borderlands. However, out of all my Dungeons & Dragons campaigns, I wish I had a DM like Tiny Tina.
This is where a sponsor would usually go. However, I'll plug our upcoming St. Jude Children's Research Hospital fundraiser. It'll be a 31-day straight event starting May 1st. Last year, we were able to raise over $100,000 for St. Jude and even got to play Mario Party with retired Nintendo president Reggie frickin' Fils-Aimé. This year, expect crazier incentives and milestones. Let's do some good for the kids of St. Jude. What seems like an odd pairing at first, with Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes as your D&D partners, advisors, quickly becomes something that I enjoyed. It felt as if I were shooting skeletons in a D&D campaign with them and their funny and sometimes corny one-liners. And I never thought I'd hear Wanda Sykes talk about loot.
What is that? Burn it! Stab it! Kill it!
We're freaking out. It's just a minute. This is why I shoot every shoot.
The Lego Batman himself, Will Arnett, had me thinking, wait, who is that?
I'm invincible!
At times with his vocal performance. And the show is 1000% stolen by Ashley Birch's Tiny Tina.
We're playing bunkers and badasses, baby!
However, if you want to, you can have your character voiced by a Jon Snow version of Vegeta and All Might, Chris Sabat.
What? I'm vain, get over it. Even the fearsome get gussied up every now and then.
Which is fitting as he voiced the space vampire Wrath in Gearbox's 2016 Battleborn. One compliment, yet complaint, but at the same time, another compliment is the voice of the entire skeleton army. No idea who voiced the skeletal crew, but you'll find yourself saying, "Oh geez, that sounds like a Skeletor impression, yeah!" And then laugh at the funny lines, whether being yelled at you or it's their death barks. It sometimes gets a bit grating though, because you hear them over and over and over, and there's a ton of skeletons. But then you're like, it's so awesome because you'll hear like a Joker-esque comical laugh as they die or do something, and then fall back in love with them. They are by far not the only enemy, however, you fight a lot of them.
Your boy's not looking up to the task, Dragon Lord.
Okay, so the start of this review was all about the voice acting. Sue me! I'm a voice actor. Alright, let's get into character creation.
When you start the game, you'll be greeted by a character creator that will allow you to create your fantasy character. You can make your own elf, orc, human, water creature, or anything in between. The character creator isn't Elden Ring by any means. However, you can have some fun with your creations. However, I really would love to see a gnome option. Hey, by the way, this is posted at Bless. I made a playthrough that you can see after this video that is half orc, half gnome, but somehow also half cat and half elven. So if you want to see that, the link will be on its way soon, or in the description. You can pick from one of 6 classes available at launch. The Berserker, basically a frost mage, but with a warrior form. The Graveborn, which is like a necromancer. Spellshot, a gun-toting wizard. Spore Warding, who is like a mixture of a hunter and a druid. The Stabomancer, which is a fun idea of a roguish thief but made magical. And my personal favorite, the Clawbringer. It's basically Thor mixed with the Final Fantasy, especially 11's, Dragoon. You have a fire-breathing wyvern, a baby dragon, and get to smash things like Reinhardt from Overwatch with your super huge hammer. You can spec your character out with special backstories that affect your stats, customize your stats just like you do in D&D, but in a simple Fallout way. A neat touch is the B&B logo, bunkers and badasses that is, in the background, which is a really nice touch and it makes it feels like it's a true D&D campaign. The other nice touch is when you start the game, you are an unpainted player, just like an unpainted player piece that you might start with an actual physical D&D campaign.
I won't lie to you, if you played Borderlands before, this is just a fantasy version of that, but that's not a diss at all. I actually prefer this to Borderlands World.
The fantasy realm you're in made me absolutely love the game from the start. Having a world like Lord of the Rings or Warcraft, but with guns, was a great idea for the series in my opinion. Also, the overworld was a nice homage to games like Final Fantasy, where you can move across the world with small bodies and big heads. Except this game, you definitely have the bigger head mode cheat code. You can even walk into grassy areas like in Pokemon or Final Fantasy for an encounter with bandits. With the embargo, there is a lot I can't show you. However, I enjoyed the environment so much. From a Stormwind-esque castle backdrop that you see sieged by a deadly skeleton army, dungeons that feel like a true necromancer's dungeon, and, like I previously mentioned, Tiny Tina's exposition while DMing brings you even more into the world of Wonderlands. Heck, I bet to see some people wanting to try out Dungeons & Dragons because of this game. Weapons feel exactly how they did in Borderlands 3. You can swap how most guns shoot, and some guns do fun and different things. From being a pistol, but having a rocket mode, a sniper, shotgun, a scout rifle that turns more snipery, and also more auto riflery. One thing that stood out to me is that this is definitely a game within a Borderlands game. I mean, it is a bunker and badasses session. However, about an hour in, you'll be thinking, wait, this gun doesn't seem too fantastical, with pretty ordinary weapons. However, you will come across axes, swords, weapons that are literally an FPS version of a Warcraft or fantasy weapon. I mean, the game doesn't take itself seriously, so why should the weapons? All that matters is that I had fun with it. Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes' characters are a joy to have. If you play solo, you'll only hear their characters talk. However, you'll find yourself smiling and laughing to their dialogue. I can only imagine this game's chaoticness with additional party members and explosions, polymorphing, wave and burning, and deadly mushrooms adding to it.
If you're like me and play D&D with someone that took the longest amount of time for the smallest little thing, you are going to love Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
The Waystone glows. You feel its magic within your chest, within your mind, within your soul. It asks a question. Who are you?
I fate.
You have answered smartly, baby!
Whether you are seducing a door open, not taking an hour to think of a witty response of a who goes there question, this is a fun take on the idea of a shooter-looter Dungeons & Dragons on the bones of the Borderlands engine characters and world.
As the mimic dies, it belches out the goopy tome of fate.
If you enjoyed Borderlands, or a fan of the shooter-looter genre like Destiny, Anthem, Rest in Peace, Outriders, Rest in Peace, or even a fan of Lord of the Rings and Dungeons & Dragons, if you can handle a shooting game that rewards you consistently with loot, I think you'll enjoy this game, especially with friends. Which is great, because this game is cross-play. Remember when that wasn't a thing?
I really did enjoy this game, and it is a fantasy version of Borderlands, but isn't that what's advertised? I love the voice acting, and personally, I can't wait to play this with buddies. And you can see that twitch.tv/Blessious this Friday when the game fully releases. Hey, if you enjoyed this new version of content, hey, please, I beg, please give a like and write down something in the comments like, hey dude, chill, look at that foot fungus. Hey, until next time, guys, I really hope you have a great one, and I hope your day is full of wonder. Cowabunga.